Hello Stampers, another video tutorial for you. We're going to do some Emboss Resist. And I've done a little prep work for this one just so the video isn't as long. Some of these steps I'm assuming you know how to do. So if you don't, then listen to the explanation. And there are other videos on my YouTube channel that can explain some of the other techniques as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to prep a card base. And this is just a basic card base. So I cut half of my 8.5 by 11 and I folded it in half, and I used some of the, I can never remember which one's which. I think this one is Market Fresh Market. Anyway, the stamp set's called one thing, the DSP is called another. This is the Market Fresh series, and I've used the pairs. You can use any of the DSPs, but I just wanted a little bit of a pop pattern behind it. And what I've done, so this is the card base would be 5.5 by 4 1/4. The DSP would be 5 1/4 by 4, and then I cut a piece of white cardstock to 5 by 3 3/4. So they're all nesting in. Okay, and I'm not sure if you can see this or not. This is just nailed on the front, the DSP, and I'm not sure if you can see this or not. I'll try to show you. This is white embossed. So I'm assuming you know how to emboss for this video. And what you would do is I took the Lighthearted Leaves was the stamp set that we were using. I absolutely love this stamp set. Love, love, love it. The patterns, just love it. And I used Versamark, and I took the big maple leaf, and I stamped that all over my white piece. So I have a bunch of maple leaves on there if you can't see it very well in the video. So I did that with Versamark. Then I used my white emboss powder and I sprinkled it all over my cardstock, and then I heated it up with my heat gun from Stampin' Up. Awesome, awesome heat gun. Now that I have one that works. They were awesome and they replaced the one that wasn't working, and now I have one that does. So I have got white cardstock and white emboss. Kind of hard to see. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our sponge daubers and our ink and we're going to rub it all over the place. So I'm going to start with my Hello Honey. And I'm just kind of going all over. You can do sections if you wanted to. I'm going to move on to my Tangerine Tango. Now, one thing we did at Stamp Club when I did this technique, and it's a little different. Some of the ladies might be watching this going, what? That's not what we did. Was I used Versamark for this. We were having some problems. I saw the technique done. That's Mossy Meadow, Blackberry Bliss, and Cherry Cobbler. They're all the colors from the DSP that I'm using on here while I'm talking. The Blackberry Bliss is really inky, so I'm going to test that first. We used Versamark. We used white craft ink at Club, and I found we really weren't getting the look we wanted. The white craft ink was not holding the colors on there like I really wanted it to, and we were having problems with our backgrounds. So I went back to what I know, which is the Versamark, and I found I got a much better coverage for my white emboss, and I liked the result a lot better. So I started with my lightest ink and went to my darkest, and now I'm just going back over and trying to get some different colors in there. So I'm just mishmashing it. Is that a word? Mishmashing? It is now. There we go. So now you can see my leaves showing up. So I've got the Mossy Meadow, Tangerine Tango, Hello Honey, Blackberry Bliss, and Cherry Cobbler all over this, which are all the colors from the DSP, so I know it's going to coordinate. Now I'm just going to take some tissue or some paper towel, whatever you've got, and I'm just going to wipe. Oh, I'm probably shaking the camera. So that all of my ink comes off of my white emboss. So like I said, if you want a nice, crisp, clean image, you can try the white craft ink as a base before you put your embossing powder on. It was hit or miss for me, and I wasn't really pleased with my results, so I stuck with the Versamark. It's completely up to you. You're going to heat emboss, and then you're going to spread on your ink, and then you're going to wipe off the excess so that it's not on that white emboss, and you have those leaves start to pop out. How cool is that? It's wicked awesome. As my son would say, who is almost 10. Well, I hope he would say that about my crafts. He thinks I'm pretty cool, I think, sometimes. He hasn't hit that age yet, so let's just say yeah. I want to put some dimensionals all over the back. And thankfully it's cooperating. My backings are coming off. I'm going to pull my cardstock back in. Put my leaves on top of that. And then what I did, and I already prepped this guy using the punch. I used the Believe from the stamp set, the lighthearted leaves. And with the same punch, I punched out some glimmer paper, and all I did was rotate it. So one goes horizontal and one goes vertical. And they're all dimensional together. Got some dimensionals on the back too, so I'm raising everything up. And then I'm choosing, I had a little bit of a boo-boo where my leaf didn't catch, and I think I'm going to try to put my greeting close to that. See, there are no mistakes in stamping, just excuses for embellishment, right? It's all good. It's all good. And there you have it. There is the card. And here's the one I did at Club. It's a little bit different. So, Cherry Cobbler, one of the colors from the DSP. I used the wood grain background paper instead, which is the other side of these pears. And then what I did was I used the different leaves. And you can see how we were kind of hit or miss that night with the white craft ink. It wasn't catching everything. But what I did when I colored the leaves, it was as though I was coloring a leaf, and I just did it in the one color. So the colors are very separate on this one. And then I just used one of the other greetings from the stamp set. So there you have it. There's some Emboss Resist. Go forth and create. Haha, happy stamping!